Hi, everybody. I have been taking some time away from this channel for some time, so you may have realized I wasn't posting as many information bits that I've been working on for some time. I've taken the time to really go into some deeper aspects in terms of the reality and the reality consensus with regards to this realm dynamic that everyone is living within. And this realm dynamic is particular and individual related to the person themselves. Now, I've not prepared anything, I've not prepared any notes. I am going as I am being inspired to connect with, to share with you what I've been finding in terms of the realm and how it's been changing itself. There are some things that I would like to bring up in terms of the belief systems which are still prevalent in this realm. The belief systems that now, because it is possible to change and experience one's personal reality, that there is this next belief system that steps into it, kind of like hand in hand, in a sense, as this belief that everyone can be a god. And this God complex or God belief system in itself just takes you straight back to the original um, problem and to begin with. To have a belief system that you are essentially a god or that you're able to change the reality because you think you're a god is the problem to begin with. I call it a problem because it's not related to who you fundamentally are. You are, yes, you are a life giving being, a life emitting being. You're a living being and you are individual and unique to your own self experience. But the belief system itself that brings in the godhood, godhead state relates to the man made principles of archetypes, which relates very strongly to the egregores. Many of you have seen me post in the community tab, and if you're new to this channel, please have a look at the community tab and put a notification, click on the notification bell icon so that you are able to see when I do anything on this channel. Because as it is, as it stands, for those that know, the higher system overlay with regards to where these videos are presented in do not like to have anything unique come into the system itself, because that alternatively shakes the entire system to its core. Now, I know that I can actually also say that I am very aware and that I can sense intuitively that there are a lot of you that have been working very strongly in terms of your own unique position in where you place yourself, who you are, and how you work within yourself. And I can also pick up that there are people that have been going through the philosophy and perhaps combing it through with a fine tooth comb. uh, this leaves it open to scrutiny with regards to those who are not able to understand the information as it is being presented on this channel. And I'm sure that you've seen 110 million thousand copycats with using my channel's title, my channel's name, the Promethean. Everything is now Promethean before. Um, so I find that quite amusing, actually, that it is happening, which tells me that if there is, it's like it's like looking at musicians that are able to straddle a specific piece of music, and that is their signature straddle, or however they play. I'm not a musician, and the signature is being copied and copied and copied over, and then multiplied and changed over, and essentially the original form of that original straddle signature has become lost. Now, this in itself is because of the belief system that everything is a multi reality, and that is fully incorrect, completely incorrect. That is as if you're going straight back down to the basics, block one. To believe that creating a reality is based on multiple realities is a Hegelian dialectic which means believing that you are just creating another reality means that you are replicating something that was original to begin with, and hence the belief system and the pattern of believing that one is a god or he's her is a god, um, praying to a god, praying to a dead person's spirit, and then for a godhead status is part of the problem to begin with. And I'm sure at the timing of this video there will be a lot of information bits that will come out, as it always does when we talk about it on this channel. This is why the channel is so unique and why I find it I have to present material on an ongoing basis as it is, because there are far too many people that misunderstand the entire process of actually creating a reality to begin with. So I want you to move away from the new age quantum thing that seems to be the most relative thing that's happening right now, mix it up with technology. It is still transhumanism. It is still a replication of something that is original without actually even using the internal self for the original purpose of who you were meant to be. Now this means I've noticed that I see a lot of people calling themselves gods. I know that there are some of those that are fiendishly scouring through people's original works. Sometimes, if it's a small channel, I mean, the channel itself, it's not the size that I'm concerned about. It's the fact that the information that comes out is scrutinized to an nth degree, and I can actually sense that. However, that tells me that those who are doing that are exactly the people that are part of the problem to begin with. Now, going into a little deeper into what we're looking at in this reality, in this realm, because it consists out of a reality consensus, relates to what you are doing within yourself internally. And so then applying that for your immediate field dynamic around you, which means you are doing a lot of things to self improve your life. And by the self improvement, you are applying self love. If, like I've said before, if you're unable to love yourself, then at least try to strive daily to improve your life in any shape or form. Now, this doesn't mean that you are going to worship the dead, which seems to be the sickness um, of the majority, or to do something that will cause a sacrifice of one sort or another, because creating your own immediate realm dynamic or field dynamic around you means that you are applying the information from the philosophy that is on this channel. Um, you will find where I've posted the philosophy information. It's been posted quite a lot, so you will find it when you look for it. Just type in the philosophy, you'll find the videos that contain that information. That's quite good to for the system to actually allow that to be the case. Now, why am I uh, bringing all of this up? Because I'm trying to explain to you that being able to alter your immediate field dynamic, in other words, improving your lifestyle for yourself, is based on self love. If you do the improvement because you are afraid or because you are obsessively desiring something else to happen for you, that will not happen. And however, I'm talking to those who are actually working on creating their own realm dynamics within their own lives so that they are able to experience a better experience in knowing who they are, connecting with your spirit. I'm always going to say, connect within who you are. Know who you are. Once you know who you are, you're able to then be able to set in certain parameters in your life for you to experience that. But it is always going to relate to love, to self love. And self love, let me just clear this up, is not about vanity, because that self love at the cost of another or at the cost of the self, means vanity, and that is then taking you back into materialism again, worshipping material, or worshipping the dead, essentially. So what I'm trying to say is, loving yourself creates your immediate environment for you that's fertile for you to apply your sacred masculine and sacred feminine principles within you, which means you have every being that is within the awareness of their soul or their spirit, and or their spirit, are either life emitting or life giving. Now, people who are life giving, or beings who are life giving, such as yourselves, uh, it, you have the sacred masculine and the sacred feminine energy within you to be able to create a child, which is your project, or it is something new that you want to start off with, or a lifestyle that you want to go towards, or a wish that you would ultimately want to have happen for you. And the creation of a reality requires a masculine and a feminine principle within you, which is in harmony within yourself, uniting within your heart energy, the energy itself, not the physical pump station, but the heart of sense where your soul resides, because that is how you feel things. Your soul cannot essentially speak, it is unable to communicate, it is not a verbal thing. And your spirit is ultimately the controlling element, you as an essence, to control your entire vessel with all of you inside of you. Now, all of these parts that I've just mentioned to you, your mind, body, soul, and spirit, are not modalities of realities. These are all parts of who you are. It is breaking the information down and saying that that is you in essentially metaphysical perspective. You in relationship to that what is around you, is often in a nature of reasoning or objecting or subjecting. These are the aspects or the belief systems that come with that. Now, in what I've brought up earlier with regards to um, creating multiple realities, and the erroneous belief system that yes, you can create millions of realities, and the realm is consisting out of realities, is incorrect, because it means then that you're taking your mind, your body, or your soul, or your spirit, and you're breaking yourself up into 110 pieces. Or I'm just being sarcastic when I say 110. I'm saying breaking yourself up into multiple pieces that you're unable to find yourself. That is how you scatter yourself. So now you get these new age fanatics and certain religious groups and organizations that wish to fracture you so that you are unable to bring all of who you are to yourself. And yet the actual work, the strength, the ability to have the strength and the courage is to draw all of those parts back into yourself, towards yourself. And this is what it means to ultimately know thyself, is when you are able to know all the parts of who you are in a unity or a balance within your heart structure. And your heart structure is specifically there because it is the mechanism, you could call it that your soul communicates through, whereas your spirit is that which is the overseer over your entire existence. And in other words, for those who are unaware of this, let me give you another example. And I find it is important to bring it up, even to perhaps remind some of you, is that you need to look at yourself in the following example. You have the Uber driver, which is in the front of the car, in the car. You have the GPS system next to him, her. You have then the passenger sitting in the back, and then you have the car. The car is the physical vessel, the mind, and the mind is the GPS, and the soul is the Uber driver, and the passenger is the one that is ultimately dictating where the driver needs to go. And so that is how you need to look at yourself in that form. You are not just something simple that is existing because, or as they say in Darwinian terms, you are not a human animal. So therefore, you have reasoning within you. You have a spirit that is eternal. Not that I'm saying that animals don't have spirits that are eternal. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that you have a reason that you would go and stop and think about something before you did make the choice of actually taking someone's life, or changing that person's life, or even changing your own life. So, in a sense, you are a complete being, and that means the spirit itself is masculine and feminine. This doesn't mean that it's um, hermaphroditic, which I see people still have a problem with understanding the difference between hermaphroditism and androgyny. Androgyny means that you have the masculine and the feminine capabilities, but you are still in one vessel. Your vessel is intact with whatever sex you are identifying yourself with or are, as opposed to what you identify yourself with. That's probably the wrong way of saying it, but I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. Where, versus hermaphroditism, which is related to Pangaea or Pan, um, yeah, Pan, the god Pan, which relates to having two sex organs attached to the physical form, and still there is that broken apart, broken to pieces or scattered, fractured mental state of consciousness, which then identifies itself as they, or his, her, they, which is related to breaking up the essential spirit. So those are people that are unable to access the sacred ability to create their own realities, to change their own lifestyles, to better themselves, because it's easy just to allow the toe to control the brain. Because I'm too lazy, or I'm too this or too that to let that happen. Now, I know that this is obviously going to distort a lot of people or disturb a lot of people, and I don't care, because those that I'm talking to are the people that are working on themselves, that are actually changing the frequencies in the realm. And so ultimately also breaking down the torus field in itself. The torus field is structured, and I've brought this in as a metaphysical example, and I've presented it as a scientific paper in metaphysics, which I've registered with a, um, I can't remember, but I've registered the document as a scientific metaphysics paper. So it is there to be looked at and understood, to be that it is something that is fundamentally important to take note of. The ring around the rings and the rings and the rings, and everybody needs a ring to control themselves and all of that stuff. That is part of that belief system. And then breaking it down into a simpler version is to see the Ouroboros, which links in with that, or the Eye of Odin, which is the another name for the thunder god of, or Yahweh, which is just another man-made element which presents itself as a god entity, which in turn is an egregore of people believing that particular structure, which then essentially is something that is so fragmented, but it requires many people to make it up so that it has much more power. And then you get those on the other end of the spectrum who believe that they require a lot of money and a lot of technology to have a lot more muscle and clout to enforce the ideology of that particular entity in itself. I'm bringing the entity up because I'm saying mythology and the beliefs in external elements as gods, and people believing themselves as gods, is what is essentially the problem to begin with, which comes from that specific root structure to begin with. So coming back to, and that is the plurality or the multi-reality structure of how they function in their existence. Now coming back to what we are aware of in terms of the philosophy, which brings the actual creative ability of your electromagnetic field inside of you, correlating that with who you are, what you are, how you are able to get rid of old belief systems in your life, and then in such a way change your frequency and your dynamics. And I know, like I hear, I on almost a daily basis am I getting information from people that are actually doing this and changing their lives quite radically in front of themselves. Many people that are not even on this channel that are telling me that information. So it is very powerful information on this channel, and it is the only information on this channel that is your that can help those who are interested in changing their lives and not use magical bullshit, which they keep doing every freaking full moon on people such as yourself and me. So that aside, those who are able to understand the philosophy are able to know that the philosophy itself is a living understanding aid, and you can see it as a manual that you are able to build yourself up with, and actually on a realistic manner change your reality, your realm dynamics, your relationship with with the realm itself, um, so that you are able to change your life into a completely different direction that you wish to have. And it does take energy, but once it's done, it doesn't change back. So that's why I've put the information together, because this is a very solid plan to help you to find yourself, to love yourself, to strive to love yourself, to understand how you think, how all the parts of your vehicle, your vessel, operate within and with one another, with each and every part of you, and that you know that you're an actual united being that is existing within your immediate environment, and that you have electrical energy and magnetic energy that actually works within the natural laws that you are able to apply daily if you just take your time to think on how it is that you think. First thing you need to do, like I've always said, is to acknowledge the fact that you are loved. And when you are loved, you know that you are loved either by your family, or that you are loved by the original creative force, or as I call it, Great Spirit. And believe me, there are people that are using the name Great Spirit to try and create curses. They are using it in their Bibles to actually hurt people. So believe it, that that is as far as people can actually go. And I can pick up on that, on those people. Um, I even know what they look like. So, uh, moving along from that, I felt I needed to bring the information in for you again so that you know. And for those that have been doing those certain spell work to try and have me be unalive, that I am proof of life. Here I am talking to you right now as we speak. So, moving back to the original fundamental purpose of understanding the Godhead itself, the Godhead idea is a new age idea to personify the ability to think yourself to be a god, because you're able to change your life. And many of those people that believe that are people who are greedy. They are people that seek material um, comforts and security to help them. They are materialists. I'm not talking about people that are desperately needing to change their lives and are trying to find work so that they can actually look after their family. I'm not talking about that, because people who do that are able to do and willing to do anything and everything to actually get that work done. So I'm talking about the fact that they are completely misconstruing the idea of knowing that you are in control of your life. You're not a god or a goddess of your life. You're also not some chosen one, or some martyr, or some entity that's going to change the world. You're changing your own world. You're changing your own unique individual experience and your dynamic. And that is how you affect those around you. And ultimately, that is how it works. It works in the model of a pearl necklace. I think I can call it a pearl string of pearls. Each and every pearl affects the other pearl. It doesn't mean that you are a collective that do not have a brain, or that you're some sort of Borg organization that'll have no brain but have only muscle, and then at the top is this little pimple of a brain that sits there and controls it all, like what's been going on all this time. Because that in itself is already uh, a type of cataclysmic structure that does and will and is, as we speak, falling down. And this means we are utilizing the darkening process, which we are still in. It's not completed itself yet and may not for some time. And before I carry on, let me just tell you that the darkening is explained in a video, in a few videos before this. So I'll put the link at the bottom and you'll understand that the darkening is a metaphysical process of um, clearing up and clarifying. You could call this a living karmic um, resolution that's taking place. And by that information that has been coming out, I've given the philosophy to help you to sustain yourself through this darkening period. Um, that aside, now I think I've cleared that up. I think for those who are unaware of it, now you know more about it. But now coming back to this whole God thing, remember that the God status or the God idea of godhood is based on someone or a person or a belief system that is based on plurality, which means you are scattered, which means you believe in multiple realities, which means you have ultimately no control. But if you desire to have some kind of control, then you'll go and do worship and sacrifice this X, Y, and Z to get the ultimate place in power. Now, that is unfortunately how most organizations work. I'm talking about politics as well. This is not a uh, um, targeting any particular or any particular political element at all. I'm talking about how it's done by um, trying to dominate certain people so that it's possible to and then fracture them. So you're looking at those who believe in godheads or god status or whatever the hell you want to call it, um, as a type of um, gaslighting and MK Ultra in its ultimate form, and that is how that happens. So godhead, god status, god, whatever you want to call it, thing, because you think you're a god now, you can do whatever you want to do, is a Crowleyan thing. It is a mind control thing as well. And that is why this generation of children that are coming after this, um, it's very important for the people that are in that are having these kids to know that they must teach their children balance and teach them how to love themselves before anything else. Because once that is in balance and that is already happening for those that are young parents now, it's very important that you still maintain a strength of support for your child. Because if you do not let yourself be taking place actively in that child's life, then you essentially threaten that child's life by not being a secure boundary around him or her or them. Okay, as in kids. Okay, so apply the philosophy in that lifestyle, and whatever is coming thereafter, much later after me, of course, and everybody else, that we will experience a change that is so enormous as it is already happening. And I did say a while ago that you will see the changes happening now in your lifetime. It is happening whether there is an awareness of it or not. That strangling thing that is tried to wrap itself around the neck of people trying to free themselves, that chain of control around people's necks, it is loosening. It's busy fragmenting away, and the towers are falling all over the place. It's just not being presented or shown as often as you would think it to be. You'd hope that it would be coming out so that you can actually at least see it, and they will keep going and giving you pan's information and spread it around so that you are able to lose yourself with that, so that you must just never ever be able to unite yourself as a whole being. That is it. There is wholeness versus fragment. There is authentic uniqueness versus plural godhood. And that is the problem. This is why it feels now as if you're going a little bit uphill, but you're not actually going uphill. You're going through an illusion that is based on making you believe that you're going through an uphill battle. You're not. You're actually still continuing in the same path. There's nothing different. Perhaps what is different for you is the fact that you're becoming more aware and seeing and feeling the changes in your life. So, to come back to the point, to basically kind of wrap it up, I want to explain to you, in order for you to be able to alter your life, your change, your experience, self love is number one. Self love is number one. Loving yourself, or at least improving your life for yourself, is self care, which leads to self love. Then take care of your strengths, of what you know you have, your courage, the ability to have the passions, to be able to discern between belief systems and things that are around you, be able to discern the byproduct of the gods, the godhood state, or gods in the hood state, or whatever you want to call it, discern from their egregores, because their egregores are formed by their belief systems, which are essentially gods to them, and therefore they believe they themselves are gods. It is beyond. You are beyond that. Okay, you are beyond that, and that is as far as they can go. I mean, that is the only thing that they can use to try and amplify where they think they fit, they belong. They are okay. Then there's your wisdom. We have wisdom, which is energy and power to be able to look into yourself and to apply what you know. Diarize your life, diarize parts of your life. I mean, I diarize every day. So I have to do that because then I am able to see progress in my life. And that is how original information is birthed, from being able to see where you come from and being able to use the information and the wisdom to share or to apply in your life. And that information is vital for you to be able to even influence the material realm around you in certain ways. The rest of the details are in the philosophy. Then apply the strength of balance and unity, which you could perhaps call um, inner harmony, to be able to change and have the confidence to influence your material realm around you. Self love is part of that energy, where you're able to feel so loved that you know there's nothing that can go against you. And if it does, then you could basically laugh in its face, because that's what we're doing right now. We're laughing at it because there's just no possible way for it to actually enter your consciousness. Okay. You're in control of your consciousness, your subconsciousness, and your lucidity. And why I'm bringing that up is because that is your dream world. You must be able to control all three kingdoms inside of you: consciousness, subconsciousness, and your lucid world, your dream world. Control those three kingdoms by controlling who you are, by loving yourself, by owning up who you are, and know that you are loved by the original creative force, because that is how it works. You can love yourself and you'll feel within yourself the actual presence of an original creative force that is alive, that is not some fake figment written about, and people have have faith and pray hard so that you can feel something which they don't. I'm telling you right now, they don't feel it. That's why they pray harder, feel more faith, and that's not going to help you at all. Knowing who you are, loving who you are, and then that lets you know that you are loved by an original creative force. That is what the ultimate path is for this, for being a life bringing being in this realm. If you got this, if you have this, it doesn't matter where you go. You have energy and strength to be able to change the frequency where you're going. And it is a fact that it is so. Next part of this whole thing is to apply the intelligence, which is the information that you draw into yourself, which means you have to have discernment in how you appreciate what you're looking at, or discern from it, put it to one side. Do not let the egregores from those feeds that are coming to you, which you feed from, do you really need to feed from that? Are you that human animal to have a feed? Even the dynamic in explaining that is a problem in itself. So be mindful what you feed your ears, your mind, your consciousness with, because that is now amped up since we're in the mercurial process again, where a lot of information is coming out, but there's also a lot of junk that's coming out with it. So learn to discern between having control over your life and or being part of them. If you're part of them, then I'm sure you're not on my channel. Any case, and as I would like to just end off this video. Please be mindful that the information on this channel is exceptionally unique. There is only one Promethean channel, and that is this channel. Everything else that's been made up after that or copied into pieces is is a copy, is a copy of a plurality which tries to create diversion so that people are unable to find my channel. Okay, and I don't give a shit. Okay, I don't care about that. I'm just telling you there is only one Promethean channel, and if you don't know where this how this channel operates, read in the description and you will see where the information is and how it works. That is all there is. There's nothing else that I would like to share further, other than that I wish for you uh, a positive, going forward, happy path ahead. Love yourself. I'm still here. I've not left. And look after yourselves until we connect again. And remember to strive daily to improve your life, because you are definitely changing the reality as it is. There's a lot of fire all over the place. They don't like it. They are scared shitless. And as I said before, whatever is being spoken on this channel is put into place. And so it may be for all of those that are here, and for those that have been strangling you. That is that. Build your strength, and you'll be able to pull the strangulation away from you. You have the power inside of you. I'm leaving that with you until next time, and bye.